Imagine a company born from the largest telecom merger in Indian history. Two giants combining to create one entity with over 400 million subscribers, bigger than the United States' entire population. The number one telecom player in India on day one, that was the promise in 2018. Today, that same company has a negative net worth of over 87,000 crore rupees. It has been bleeding subscribers in nearly every quarter since, and it has survived only because the government, which now holds close to a 49% stake, has repeatedly stepped in to keep it alive. And here's the part that should make every investor sit up straight. The numbers that told this story were public, quarterly for free on the stock exchange. So today we are going to talk about three metrics: ARPU, debt-to-EBITDA and subscriber count. And by the end of this, you'll never look at number of customers as a proxy for business health again. But first, subscribe to Investwithshare.market. We decode the language of investing so you can read the story before the market does. When this merger was announced in 2017, the headline number was 400 million subscribers. It was everywhere. Largest telecom operator in India, market leader number one. And that framing was completely misleading. In telecom, especially in India, subscriber count tells you almost nothing about financial viability. When a disruptive new entrant arrived in 2016 with free voice calls and near zero data prices, it didn't just win customers. It reset the entire pricing floor of the industry overnight. Suddenly, having 400 million customers meant very little if each one was paying you almost nothing. And that's exactly what was happening. The signal was sitting right there in the quarterly filings in a number called ARPU. ARPU, average revenue per user, is the single most important number in a subscription-based high capex business like telecom. Think about what telecom actually is. You're not selling a product. You're maintaining a massive expensive infrastructure, towers, spectrum, fiber equipment, and charging people monthly for access to it. Your ability to service debt, invest in your network, and survive depends entirely on how much you earn per customer every single month. So what was this company's ARPU when the warning signs were clearest? Around 130 rupees. Some quarters even lower. Industry analysts consistently estimated that a telecom operator needed an ARPU of approximately 200 rupees to viably cover cost, service debt, and fund network investment. This company was 35% below the threshold, not for one quarter, for years. And while they were stuck at 130 rupees, their largest competitor was already north of 200 rupees and deliberately moving their customer base up market, shedding low-value subscribers to chase ARPU, not headcount. That's the lesson right there. One company chose fewer, better-paying customers. This one held on to every subscriber it could, trying to win a volume game in a market where volume without revenue is just a liability. As of the most recent quarterly results, this company's ARPU has improved and now sits between 180 rupees and 186 rupees. Real progress. But their two main competitors are at 206 rupees and 256 rupees. The gap has narrowed, but they're still playing catch-up from a position of extreme financial fragility. Now here's where it gets truly alarming. This company's total debt at its peak crossed 2.9 lakh crore. That's not just bank loans. It includes spectrum payment obligations and AGR, adjusted gross revenue dues, owed to the government. The AGR dispute, in which the Supreme Court ruled that telecom companies owed the government dues dating back decades, was a gut punch this company could never fully absorb. At one point, interest and financing costs were consuming over 60% of this company's total quarterly revenue. Read that again. More than half of every rupee it earned was going straight to servicing debt before a single tower was maintained, before a single upgrade happened. There's a metric for this called debt-to-EBITDA. It measures how many years of operating earnings it would take to pay off your debt. For a healthy telecom, you'd want this somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 times. For this company, the ratio was for practical purposes unpayable without external intervention. And external intervention is exactly what came. First, a government moratorium on spectrum and AGR payments in 2021. Then, 2 separate conversions of government dues into equity, making the government the single largest shareholder with close to 49% stake. And most recently, in December 2025, AGR dues of nearly 88,000 crore rupees were frozen, with repayments deferred to begin in FY 2032 and extending through FY 2041. The government stepped in because India's telecom policy requires at least 3 viable private players. That was a policy decision, not a business one. And that distinction matters enormously for investors. Let's bring the subscriber story full circle. This company launched with approximately 400 million customers and promise of market leadership. Today, that subscriber base has fallen to under 200 million, less than half of where it started. Its 2 main competitors have each crossed or are approaching 500 million subscribers. This company is a distant third and still losing subscribers. The churn happened because it couldn't invest in its network. It couldn't invest because it had no free cash. It had no free cash because ARPU was too low to generate a meaningful operating surplus. And ARPU stayed low because it kept chasing subscribers instead of revenue quality. It's a spiral, and the disclosures were showing it quarter after quarter. So what should you as an investor actually look for? 3 checks. 1. ARPU versus industry average. Never look at ARPU in isolation. Always benchmark it against peers and against the minimum viable threshold for the industry. If a company's ARPU is significantly below both and has been for multiple quarters, that's a structural problem, not a temporary blip. 2. Debt-to-EBITDA. If a company's debt is so large that it would take an implausible number of years of earnings to repay, that company is not viable without a restructuring. For capex-heavy businesses, telecom, infrastructure, and aviation, this ratio is the most honest health check you can have. 3. Subscriber count versus revenue quality. Subscriber count is a vanity metric unless it's accompanied by ARPU growth and revenue market share growth. A company growing subscribers while ARPU flatlines is running on a treadmill, going nowhere, burning cash. All of this data is available in quarterly results, filed with BSE and NSE, publicly accessible and completely free. The question is never whether the information was there, it's whether you were looking at the right numbers. This is a textbook case of what happens when a business confuses scale with strength. 400 million customers, number 1 in India, and yet negative net worth, a debt pile that still towers over its earnings, and a survival story written not by its business model but by government policy. The ARPU was 130 rupees when it needed to be closer to 200 rupees. The debt coverage was effectively impossible, and the subscriber count, the one number that made every headline, was the least meaningful number in the entire filing. The data was never hidden. It was filed every quarter in black and white on the exchange. Read the right numbers, understand unit economics, and remember, a company with 300 million customers can still be structurally unviable. Size is not the same as strength. Subscribe to Investwithshare.market. We'll see you in the next episode.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.